Back to the Friday night when Neil Gaiman runs Scarlett an outdoor bath under the Pohutukawa tree when he joins her in the bath, and she says he uses his fingers to her. Neil Gaiman's account is that he offered to run a bath for both of them, and after he established consent, cuddled and made out with Scarlett. Remember, she sends a message to her friend the next day saying it had crossed the boundaries. She Googles Neil Gaiman and Me Too, but she also messages Neil Gaiman saying, "Thank you for a lovely, lovely night. Wow."
But it was...
So yeah,
It's
it's
good.
weird. It's kind of hard to get a sense of what exactly is going on. It seems like on some level she did, after the fact, her opinions of what happened changed on some level, and that makes sense. You can understand more context and have different opinions about things that happen to you. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're lying or going back on what you said.
Yeah,
Context
no,
can
100%.
change how you feel about something, but it does make it hard to get a sense for the truth when you have so many conflicting sentiments.
No, I agree. It is kind of strange.
The morning after the assault in the bath, she says, "Wow, last night that was lovely. Kiss."
Yeah. So the con man is reframing right from the beginning. You see, I think you're making too much out of this. It's not that complicated. And then the idea that you consent to degradation is such a stupid idea. Only men can think this idea up.
Neil Gaiman's position is that tendencies to sexual degradation are not uncommon with women, as shown by the success of the 2011 novel 50 Shades of Grey, and that such activities...
So, yeah, they're kind of just saying, like, you can't agree to being degraded. And I mean, I don't know how people feel about it. I don't really care to get into that, but they're kind of saying that. And then there's such a power dynamic also because of how much more famous he is. And, she was a fan of him.
But context matters too. Many companies now have policies that stop senior employees from even sharing taxis with their juniors, or from socializing with them. This isn't to say that an older or more experienced person can't have a sexual relationship with a younger one. They often do. The point here is that given the power dynamics, it's hard to establish that consent was freely given, especially if one party is much more junior to the other. It's hard to say no.
That's fair.
A month after
that's
Neil
true.
Gaiman leaves New Zealand, the two versions of Scarlett's story come together. Remember her friend Misma? Scarlett confided in her. Misma and her partner Chris, an academic who specialises in sexual abuse, were outraged.
It strikes me that perhaps you haven't grasped the severity of the situation. Yes,
Misma wrote that scorching WhatsApp message to Amanda Palmer.
And after receiving the message, it appears Amanda Palmer gets in touch with Neil Gaiman, who's in Scotland, to tell him that Scarlett is making serious allegations against him. 2 weeks pass before Scarlett happens to send a friendly, chatty message to Neil Gaiman. "I just wanted to check in and hear about how you are," she says. Neil Gaiman responds quickly, 11 minutes later.
What date are we looking for?
24th of March.
Okay, got it.
2022.
Okay, hold on, there's tons.
Okay, look at this. So on that day, Neil messages Scarlett, and he says, "Honestly, when Amanda told me that you were telling people I'd raped you, and were planning to Me Too me, I wanted to kill myself. But I'm getting..."
So, yeah, she kind of talked to people, and the rumors came out, and the word rape was out and about. And basically, Neil is texting her and saying, "Oh, I wanted to kill myself because this came out," or whatever. And I mean, she kind of explains, "Well, I never used that word," or whatever. I'm
to it a day at a time. And it's been 2 weeks now, and I'm still here. Fragile, but not great.
Scarlett's response to that message from Neil reads, "Oh my God, Neil, I never said that. I have been deeply upset about it all because it's triggered things from my past, and also for many reasons I feel whiplash. But I'm horrified by your message. Me too, you? Rape? What? This is the first I've heard of this. Wow. I need a moment to digest your message." And then, at 11:28, she says, "Okay, it's been blown way out of proportion, it seems. My heart is pounding. I'm so sorry. You have been so not okay. I had no idea. I have never used the word rape. I am just so shocked. I honestly don't know what to say."
So, like, he's now got her feeling bad for him, even though, it seems like he's been pushing her boundaries and stuff the whole time. And that's like the manipulator playbook, is to get people to feel bad for you doing bad things to them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He's definitely trying to keep his nose clean by making her feel bad. Kind of seems that way.
Yeah, that's the impression I get. And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit
Message
here
to
again.
Amanda is kind of awful. I'm a monster in it. A short while later, he messages again. Knowing that you would be prepared to say, it's not true, it was consensual, he's not a monster, makes me a lot more grounded. Scarlett responds.
So he basically texts her, I need you to say it was consensual. Say what we did was consensual, which again, that seems super manipulative. If you hadn't done anything, why would you need somebody to say that to you?
Yeah, exactly.
It was consensual. How many times do I have to fucking tell everyone?
Yeah, and that's what she's like, how many times do I have to say this? I said it was consensual. And then jump ahead to another voice memo here.
Weird shit and kept me sort of just enough.
Neil Gaiman and Scarlett continue to message each other.
Hello, this is a little film. I really do get it. Get it about just feeling like you're at the end. The one thing that always has kept me holding on so far is just the knowledge that, suicide can be a very permanent end to some temporary problems. I think you're funny and smart and a good person. And I think you have to stick around so I can introduce you to Fiona Shaw at, like, the Nancy Boys premiere or something.
And so Scarlett is a huge, huge fan of Fiona Shaw, and he's dangling this thing in front of her like, let's stay on good terms so I can introduce you to the celebrity that you really, really like. Again, to me, it seems oddly manipulative that you're doing that. And then
Yeah, no,
this
definitely.
part to me is just this is like the final straw, basically, where it's like, okay, this sounds really bad.
He was paying me 350 New Zealand dollars a week, not a lot, £175, to get me back on my feet.
A day later, on the 11th of May, Scarlett gets an email from Neil Gaiman's bookkeeper in Los Angeles. How are you? I hope all is well. Attached is an NDA form. We request all service providers for Neil to sign the attached. Would you kindly sign it and email it back to me? I am also sending you a wire for your rent deposit and first week.
And to get that money, he said, I need you to sign this NDA.
But Scarlett has a question. Why does he want her to sign an NDA now? She's no longer providing services. Her nanny job didn't even come with a contract, and she wasn't working for Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer on the 11th of May 2022 when she received the NDA.
So yeah, it's totally after the fact now. They're like, sign this NDA and we'll give you some money. I mean, that to me is as close as you could get to basically admitting it. Like, that sounds so bad.
That sounds really bad. He's just trying to cover up his track, but it seems like definitely something happened. Obviously, it's just allegations, but there seems like a lot of different conflicting things, but that right there kind of does solidify it a little bit, honestly.
Yeah. Because I agree. At the end of the day, it seems like a huge mess, and I don't think you can make any heavy conclusions from that. But it definitely does seem like Neil does this sort of stuff in general and is at the very least, a little bit of a creep, a boundary pusher, and all that sort of stuff. From my listening of those podcasts, it seems like that's pretty certain. But as far as any specifics, I don't think you can say from those.
No, you can't say from those, but it definitely has a lot of very interesting allegations that could definitely be very true, but it's hard to say it's really hard to say, honestly, but it seems that way. It really does seem that way.
But yeah, just after listening to that, I totally get why people are mad at the guy for making those types of, believe all women tweets. When it's like, okay, dude, if you're gonna make those kinds of tweets, you don't even get to have the appearance of potential nefariousness or whatever it is. That's kind of, they were mentioning about, a lot of big companies, they won't even let an executive take a cab ride with someone who's their junior or whatever. And that's not because they think every CEO is a creepy weirdo or whatever. It's just so you don't even have the appearance of anything bad going on. It's another barrier where it's like, well, okay, how could that even happen? They're not allowed to take the same taxis. You got to prove that happened, and that sort of thing. But he doesn't do any of that. He's just kind of out in the open about being a weirdo, well, making those kinds of tweets.